What's up guys, Nor here and welcome to Book of Showtime Chapter 41. As always, if you enjoy these videos, be sure to like and share with your friends, and if you have a topic you'd like me to cover for Book of Showtime, be sure to leave it in the comment section down below, or anywhere you can reach me on social media or the Book of Showtime Discord. So welcome to part 3 of the October Selects. Are you guys having fun this October? It's been pretty good. Have you seen the Fortnite stuff that's coming? Alan Wake, I'm a huge Alan Wake fan. It means a lot that is coming to Fortnite. Maybe next year I'll talk about games that have the best Halloween modes, because Fortnite does a good job, Call of Duty has the haunting, Overwatch has its modes, so maybe we should take a look at that in the future. But that's for another time. Today I got 3 games and I think you're going to enjoy all of these, so let's just get right in. We're going to begin part 3 with the House of the Dead remake. Imagine my surprise when a remake of the original House of the Dead was announced. I've wanted House of the Dead on modern machines for years now. Have you ever tried to emulate the arcade games? They're a pain. I was disappointed at first because it seemed that it would only be available on the Nintendo Switch, which I think exclusively releasing any game on the Nintendo Switch is almost like a death sentence financially. But then out of the blue, it drops on everything else the following week, which I thought was awesome. We spoke about House of the Dead a little bit back in chapter 39, spoiler, and now we get an opportunity to talk about it some more. House of the Dead is one of the seminal light gun games in arcade history, up there with classics like Time Crisis and Area 51. Although House of the Dead 2, 3, and 4 have seen home ports with an original game Overkill released for PlayStation 3 and Wii, the first game was kind of left behind. I played House of the Dead's remake with our good friend and long-time contributor Vinny Mortem, happy belated Vinny, and it's a blast to play. The only time I had ever played the original House of the Dead was at this laundromat across the street from my middle school, which for as long as I went, I had the high score on the Miss Pac-Man machine there, which I wonder how long that score held, because I sat there for like an hour racking up points, but I digress. In addition to updated graphics, House of the Dead's remake also added a new armory system, allowing players to unlock shotguns and ARs to add some replayability. There was also a new horde mode that increased the amount of enemies on screen, and a host of quality of life features like a gallery and a photo mode. House of the Dead's remake might not seem like much from the outside, but this might be a sleeper candidate for one of the all-time best remakes, as they took a standard arcade game and gave it a robust host of changes. For me, House of the Dead lights up a 7.5 out of 10. Next up, Resident Evil: The Umbrella Chronicles. Token Resident Evil appearance. How about we switch up the flow a bit? House of the Dead is a fast-paced, silly, goofy game, but how about a slower, more deeper type of rail shooter? Umbrella Chronicles is one of the many hit-or-miss spin-offs the franchise has produced. Originally released for the Nintendo Wii before a PlayStation 3 port came, Umbrella Chronicles was an abridged retelling of Resident Evil 0, 1, the remake of 1, and 3 with an original chapter at the end and little sub-chapters sprinkled here and there to fill out the story in ways we didn't see during the main games. I feel like this was a great way for new fans of the game to get a feel for the story, as the Resident Evil games covered in Umbrella Chronicles, they had some dated and foreign gameplay. Like, that gameplay just didn't exist anymore at the time. Not to mention, Umbrella Chronicles featured a local co-op, a rarity at the time in any horror game, not just Resident Evil. What made Umbrella Chronicles stand out from House of the Dead was the weapon system. Every character had a unique handgun, and you can find weapons like shotguns, magnums, and grenade launchers along the way to help you in your fight. If not those, you also had a knife and grenades to fall back on. This is actually the game that made me a huge Wesker fan. He is so cool in Umbrella Chronicles, and his subchapters, to me, they are the best parts. His fight with the twin Ivans feels like peak Capcom in my opinion. This game is available on PS5 through their premium subscription, which you guys know I've complained about games being locked behind that paywall for a few times in the past on this channel, so that's currently your only way to experience it on modern machines, unless you have a PS3, a Wii, or you aren't opposed to emulation. Today, Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles gets a 7 out of 10. Finally, we end part 3 of the October Selects with Vampire Knight. Whoops! All rail shooters! How about a gothic horror game for you? I don't think we covered any of those yet. Which, tell me down below, what is your favorite gothic horror game? For me, it might be Alice Madness Returns, if that counts. Anyway, Vampire Knight sees players take control of a pair of vampire hunters as they blast through this village and castle, erasing all forms of evil and saving the villagers. While set on the same engine as House of the Dead, Vampire Knights has quite a few notable differences. First, in the tone, with a more grounded and kind of melancholy environment, and in gameplay with faster enemies and a cancel gauge for boss battles. Not to mention that shooting the villagers doesn't take a life, it just turns them into another enemy. In House of Dead, if you shoot one of the civilians, you lose a life. Here, it's just another enemy. This was a straight up fun game. I really like rail shooters, and it's sad that it's kind of like a baiting genre. You don't really see them as much anymore. They're usually only on smartphones or VR. I know some people might not get the same vibe playing with a gamepad as opposed to playing with a gun-con or Wiimote, but me personally, I still find them just as fun. We're kind of just left to go back and play the older ones like Vampire Knight and Umbrella Chronicles, and we just have to cross our fingers for more remakes like House of the Dead. What's even more cool was I actually played this with my lovely friend Amy, who is actually Vinny's little sister, so when I need to play rail shooters, I know what family to go to. They're like the Belmonts of rail shooters. All in all though, I'm giving Vampire Knights a 7 out of 10. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know down below what your favorite rail shooter is. Inshallah, I will see you in the next chapter.